I am very thrilled to be here today with Savage Joy. Joy, thank you so much for taking the time. Joy, I'm sure many of you are aware, is with the M4M4ALL group, as well as doing her own political commentary and things of that nature. Joy, it's wonderful to talk as always. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks so much, Luke. I always love doing shows with you.
Yeah, always great to see you. Can you just go ahead and, for anyone who may not have heard about these trivia nights that you guys have been doing, can you talk about what's going on tonight?
Yeah, so me and Jesse Jett are doing a music trivia night. If you pay $5 or more, you get to join us, and we're just gonna have fun. Just asking questions about music and being silly. Maybe drink a little. And we may even have a few special guests stop by, but it's a surprise. So you guys have to get tickets if you guys want to be in on it. So yeah, it's actually our last really big push to get our donations. And if you can see behind me, we need to raise a lot of money for things that are just imperative that we can't do without. So even if you can't make tomorrow night, you can always donate, at m4m4all.org. Anything helps. And I know it's trite, but literally anything helps. We're all volunteer. So really, this is we survive on donations.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you just got $1 or $2 to give, every little bit helps. I have the website up there at the bottom of the screen, m4m4all.org, if you guys are interested in finding out more information or contributing to the cause. And as Joy said, these marches and events come with a great deal of cost, so any help is very much appreciated. Joy, can you just talk a little bit about what M4M4ALL is all about and what you guys have coming up here in a few weeks?
Yeah, so M4M4ALL actually was started last year. We did the 56 cities Medicare for All actions last July 24th across the nation. And this year we decided to do one big one in DC just because why not? Unfortunately, everybody has to come to one place then, but we do have people flying in from all across the country. We think we're gonna make more noise if we are all in solidarity, and we're gonna be right in front of the Capitol telling everyone to stick to what they say. If they say they're for Medicare for all, let's fucking prove it. Get off your ass and let's see some change, because right now we're watching eugenics of the poor, and it's these folks we have to hold accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. And prior to the march, there's going to be some things going on that week, right? For anybody who may be able to. I know that's probably some people with work and things. That'll be a harder time to participate. But can you talk a little bit about what you're encouraging people to do in the week leading up to the march?
Sure. Yeah, we're going to have a week of action, and some of those things will be online, and it will be things that people can participate in all across the country. If they want to get groups together locally, just with some comrades and friends and family, things that everyone can do regardless of where they are. And then all of us organizers are going to be going to DC in Wednesday, the 27th, because we have actions Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The march is Saturday. And then Sunday we'll be doing mutual aid with handing out bag lunches and feminine products and socks and things like that. So we have literally like 5 days of things that we're doing in DC. So it's not just a march. I can't get into details because nothing bad per se, but our haters will probably love to call the popo. But we have some civil disobedience, some disruption, some direct action, some protest. We have a lot of stuff planned that anyone who's going to be in DC reach out to me, and I can tell you on the down low.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, best to keep that stuff tight-lipped, at least the details, for the time being.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for this on-the-ground stuff because this is an issue where we seem to have won the public argument, so to say, right? When 75 or 80% of the country supports an issue, you have a critical mass of people that support that issue. So I think we're kind of past the education stage, as important as things like the summit that we did a few, or you all did, and I was honored to participate in a few months ago. As important as stuff like that is, I think we are to the point where we really just need people in the streets demanding this, because for years now, at least 3/4 of the country has supported this issue. Can you talk a little bit about, it may seem a little bit obvious to a lot of my audience, but what is the resistance there, and how do we break through those political hurdles to get to this policy?
Yeah, I mean, there really are, unfortunately, there are so many just vote blue. Well, they say they're for Medicare for all. It was on their platform. I don't give a fuck. What are they doing? Nothing. So myself and two other organizers were asked by Congressman Ro Khanna to go to DC to meet with him to talk about Medicare for all. Last Tuesday, we also met with Rep. Rashida Tlaib. So we are reaching out to Congress people and holding them accountable. That's what this is about. I'm done with electoral politics. Personally, I'm fucking done. I am all about direct action at this point. But if you do support voting and what have you, you need to hold your people accountable. That is your responsibility. If you say you're a Dem, you are the company you keep. You need to hold them accountable. This is what holding people accountable means. We went to go meet with Ro Khanna in DC. I brought $15,000 in medical debt, even though I have insurance. I presented it to Ro and said, look, here's what's happening. And because of that, he reached out to Bernie, and they are working on legislation for medical debt cancellation. That is what holding people accountable does. If I would have went in there and been like, hi, Ro, and given him a hug, nah.
Yeah.
What you do is, and let me tell you, my kink is being able for him to say, Joy, if Biden runs again, will you vote for him? And I looked at him and I said, no. And it felt so good because I was like, we don't have to lie to these people. Why? For what? We need to march in the streets. We need to stand in front of the Capitol. We need to say, look, all you're doing is talking and tweeting. You are doing nothing. People are dying. And there's 1881A, which Biden could literally give us all. National Medicare for all. Immediately, with the stroke of a pen. He is not doing it, period. I don't think people realize, like, literally today, we could all have health care immediately.
They did it for a small town in Montana that was having horrible problems with asbestos. Now that whole town has Medicare for all, and they should, but we all should. And that's a wonderful point. They could do it by executive order. They really don't even need Congress. I understand that may be more susceptible to the next president coming in and undoing it, but is that not better than nothing? And by the way, we saw, even with a shitty program like Obamacare, it was virtually impossible for Republicans to gut it. And that's a shitty program that barely edged us in the right direction. The Medicare for all would be virtually impossible for any politician to come in and cut once people realized how much of a difference it made in their life. So I think that's a fantastic point. Joe Biden promised a public option on the campaign. He hasn't done anything on healthcare. Now, I personally think a public option is kind of a poison pill, but he promised action and he's done nothing. That's a recurring trend with these Democrats. And I just want to reiterate the point that you made. Holding them accountable, regardless of what you may think of any individual like Ro or Rashida Tlaib or an establishment Democrat, the only time that we see massive change is when they feel pressured. Regardless of whether you think it's good politician or bad politician, really doesn't matter to me. Regardless of whatever value you see in electoral politics, pressuring them is the only thing that works. One thing you all can do at home if you can't make the march, please just call your representatives every goddamn day and tell them that we need Medicare for all this instant. That is one thing, whether you believe in electoral politics or not, that's just pressuring, and that is effective. So I really think that's an important point to drive home.
Absolutely. And when we met with Rashida on Tuesday, she literally cried because, and I don't mean that as in we bullied her and made her cry. I mean that I literally used the words, I believed in you, I supported you, you embraced me while I cried and shared my story, you cried with me. And I'm incredibly heartbroken and disappointed at the way you have left people like me behind. And she started crying. And this is called holding people accountable. So when people come at us and say, why would you meet with them? They suck and stuff. Because let me tell you why. If you have a chance to meet with a rep and you turn them down, you are a fucking fool. Because if you think tweeting at them on Twitter is holding them accountable, you don't know shit. They're not reading your tweets. They're not. It might feel good personally, like, yeah, I'll tweet at Elizabeth Warren all day. Fuck you. And it feels good, but it's not doing anything. So if you get the chance to have a one-on-one with a rep, you better fucking take it, because it's not going to come easy and it's not going to be frequent. And that is an opportunity to hold their feet to the fire, which is the only time anything is even slightly going to change.
Yeah. You're totally right. It can feel really cathartic to sit there and tweet at these powerful people, but at the very best, their staff is reading through 1,000 tweets and saying, in general, this is what's said, like it. No, they're not reading your tweet. So you're 100% right. Anytime you can get them in person, and it obviously has more impact. I don't want to say that makes me hopeful, but I'm glad to hear that she showed emotion when you brought that point up, that, hey, you had millions of people that believed in the movement that you were saying you're going to fight for. And I don't mean to impugn any individual's intentions. I think Rashida does have good intentions, but like, it doesn't much matter for us, right? Your debt didn't go away because a handful of reps have good intention, right? And I think that's the most important point. You can't wait for another let's vote in November and then let's vote in November. Your debt isn't going anywhere. So that
absolutely. And all the shit libs cannot wait for November because they're gonna fucking lose, and they want to, because then they get to obfuscate and say, see, the Republicans are holding it up, and they just get to pretend these past 2 years never happened.
Just like they pretend that 2009 to 2011 never happened. I mean, they're running out of excuses at this point, and it's becoming very difficult to, especially with the abortion issue, defend Joe Biden at this point and the Democrats' inaction and fecklessness. So just to pivot really quickly back to the M4M4ALL events and things, I'm curious what you might tell people who can't make the march, who maybe just can't afford to travel, live in a different part of the country, that kind of thing. In addition to maybe organizing during the week leading up, how can people get involved with the organization, help the organization, obviously donating and things like that? But what would you encourage people to do to keep this movement going forward?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And we do things all year round. Since we are 100% volunteer, we're constantly, we're all organizers and activists. So we are constantly coming up with new ways throughout the year. But this month is the month, when all of our main actions are taking place. You can go to M4M4ALL.org. You can see we are having a huge week of action where even if you have no money and you can't travel, these are things you can either do online or in your town. So those are some things. Also, we are always looking for people who will join our meetings and share our posts. That is so incredibly important. Just sharing our posts, getting the word out. The more people know about July 30th, the more people will come out. And quite frankly, telling your favorite YouTuber that they talk about a good game, but they're not having any of us on their shows and they're not talking about our march, hold them accountable and say, what's up? Why are you only talking about other YouTubers? This isn't productive. There are people who are volunteering their asses off tooth and nail for a cause you say you support. call them out and say, why haven't you talked about this? Why aren't you promoting this? Because there's a whole lot of YouTubers who sit there and say, we need to get in the streets, blah, blah. Okay. Well, where are you? And where are you supporting people like us who are doing it?
Yeah.
Because
and on that note, really quickly, Joy, I may miss some names here, but I just want to give a shout out to Indie Left Media, Status Coup, Revolutionary Blackout Network, and many others who have been pushing this message. But you are exactly right. Some of the biggest names on this platform that are appealing to left viewers have not done a whole lot to promote this. So I want to shout out the people who have and encourage everybody, pressure your favorite commentator on the left to get involved, talk about this, have someone on from M4M for All. And encourage people to come out and join these marches.
And there are a lot of people who helped us last year who have been silent this year. And that sucks. If you've never been with us, that's one thing that sucks too. But when you were hardcore with us last year, having us on, promoting us, speaking, okay, but now, where are you? Where are you? We still need you. You have a platform. Use it for good, period.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to the audience as well, it doesn't have to be limited to YouTube. Reach out to your local paper. I mean, it might be a long shot. Any media that may cover this march, even if they're not covering it from a supportive sort of framing, any sort of media attention that this stuff gets, that's the point of marching and protest is to draw attention. So, reach out to people in your area, reach out to your favorite commentators and try to get some more attention ginning up about this stuff. And reach out to your loved ones, your colleagues, your neighbors, your friends. Let them know what's going on and see if they'd be interested in getting involved as well.
Absolutely. Hell, reach out to CNN, MSNBC. We're going to be right fucking there in DC. Tell them, because they'll put a spin on it, but I'll just walk right up to their asses and be like, you know why we don't have it? Because you guys are bought by the same motherfuckers we're protesting. I don't give a fuck. I'll say whatever. I don't give a shit. So really telling anyone, any exposure we can get. And, one of the most rewarding things in the world about doing this is when people say, you guys have inspired me to get involved on a local level, because that's so important too. You don't have to have a big organization. If you want to grab some people in your town and hold up signs and do a honk and wave, hell yeah.
Yep.
That's action. That is doing something. And you may not think it's a big deal, but if people are driving by and they don't know what National Improved Medicare for All is, and you have signs like we all deserve National Improved Medicare for All, they may Google it, they may look it up, or they may say, you know what, they're right. And then next thing you know, it's a cycle.
It snowballs. Yeah, 100%. And on that note, a quick shout out to someone who's been very involved with both Real Progressives and M4M for All, Eric Kessner, who spent months in DC doing just that, standing above freeway overpasses with signs and things, talking to people, going to coffee shops and talking. Even he was talking to lobbyists, like the shittiest people in our society, and he's coming after him, right? So humongous shout out to Eric Kessner, and I encourage everybody to follow in his footsteps. He's with Yellow Vests of Real Progressives, and he's been very involved with the marches as well. Joy, can you just reiterate for the audience, where can they get tickets for tonight if they're interested, and what's that going to be all about?
Yeah, so you can find the tickets on my Twitter. It's through Eventbrite or M4M4ALL.org. And basically it's me, Jessie Jett, and we're going to be doing music trivia and just having some fun, being silly. And we're gonna have a few surprise guests stop by. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and it's just a way to not just say, can we have donations because we need them, but to do something to involve you guys too, to kind of just make it fun. It's just more fun to be like, yo, you're helping us, and you get to be silly and talk about shitty 80s bands. It's just more exciting.
Who doesn't love that, right? What time is that? And if people go through Eventbrite and buy a ticket, will they get the link through there? I just want to make sure everybody knows how to get in.
Yes, it'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern, and when you sign up for Eventbrite, you will be sent the link, and it will be a private link. So unless you sign up and you donate the $5 or more, you won't be getting the link to play.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Well, I encourage the audience to not just do that, but go to M4M4ALL.org. You can learn more about all the fantastic things that they are doing over there, as well as the march and the week of action coming up this week. If you'd like to just make a donation, maybe you're busy tomorrow, you can make your donation there at M4M4ALL.org. And I also want to reiterate, Joy said, share these tweets, right, at M4M4ALL on Twitter. They're tweeting about this event here tonight, and they're also tweeting about the march. Make sure to share that so that your followers on social media know what's up and know what's happening. A great deal of the struggle here is simply informing people that this is actually occurring, and then people will come out and join. So
and
I want to
send
make
us
sure the
your
message gets out.
stories. Please send
One more
us your
time?
stories.
Oh, stories. Yes. Yeah. Very important. Yeah.
And if you're in the DC area and you have a story, my DMs are open. Reach out. We do have like 1 or 2 speaking spots open, so just reach out and we can talk. It is so important we highlight real people. That is why we're doing this.
100%. I commend Joy and all of her colleagues over there at M4M4ALL, and I hope we can do this again as the march gets nearer. I look forward to the trivia night tonight. I hope to see many familiar faces there. And Joy, thank you so much again for taking the time to come on today.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Real Progressives and Real Progress and Action. You guys have been amazing. And 5 years this month I've been doing my show, and it's because Real Progressives gave me my start. So
hey, that's huge. Congratulations on that, and look forward to many more years of your fantastic content. Joy, thanks so much. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.